Question faces the Seahawks today. How do you stop the Denver Broncos? Denver versus Seattle. Terrell Davis gets his 9th touchdown of the season on the ground, and that increases the Denver lead to 11 now, 21-10. They went 7 plays, 55 yards, took 3:31, and John Elway 3 of 3 on the drive. Now Jason Elam will kick off. Broussard and Green wait for it. This will be Green, the rookie out of Nebraska, from the 6-yard line. Does not have a chance to use his great speed. Down to 22.
I want to know 2 things. One is Tony Jones is back in at left tackle, but watch Mark Schlereth working right here against Sally Amua. Schlereth is going to go into the bye week next week and do what he normally does. You know, some guys go on vacation, some guys go home, some others go do a little work, spend some time with their kids. Mark Schlereth is going to go get a little surgery. His 22nd surgery, his 12th on his knee.
Tony Jones, number 77. And a new quarterback, John Freeze, in for Warren Moon. The handoff, Ricky Waters. A flag will bring this one back.
Well, real quick on that quarterback change, you know that wasn't Warren Moon's idea.
No. And the first thing the Seahawks do is shoot themselves in the other foot. This will come back and cost them 10. John Freeze.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
At the rate they've been pulling off rounds towards their feet, they're going to have to start aiming for their ankles because their feet are about gone.
Well, we have seen Warren Moon in difficulty in this half, particularly overthrowing receivers who were open, struggling with that cracked rib. So John Freeze, who won the backup spot over John Kitna, is on, and Warren Moon apparently done for the day.
His job is to be a spark here, and for what they pay him, he better be a spark.
Freeze back, took all the snaps with the regular team, the first team this week. Here's Ricky Waters, who was telling us yesterday that it really did help in terms of timing. He normally, you know, is serving with the second team guys, but Warren Moon sat out 2 days of practice this week, so Freeze did get the reps.
Yeah, he had them all on Wednesday and Thursday, and Warren Moon, like we said, injected those ribs and practiced on Thursday and said, hey, I'm going to go for as hard and as long as I can.
2nd and 14. James McKnight on the field now. 21-10, 13-12 to go. Here's Freeze back. Finds McKnight. And McKnight leans out, does not quite get the first down, but a nice effort.
And that's the kind of play he wasn't making. That's why Brian Blades was getting the opportunities to be the 3rd receiver. The success of this passing game has come predominantly in crossing patterns across the field. As you see McKnight enter from the left side of the screen, and smartly, instead of keeping crossing, he runs right up the field.
3rd and 1. And Seattle trailing by 11. 3rd and 1. Waters.
Hey, it's going on.
And we welcome those of you expecting to see 60 minutes. 60 minutes will be along in its entirety except on the West Coast when our game is complete. And we've got 11 minutes and 53 seconds to go from the Kingdome in Seattle. A first down run by Ricky Waters has given Seattle a fresh series of downs. Here's the toss to Waters as they try the right side. Seahawks down by 11 to the undefeated Denver Broncos, and Waters spilled at the 41-yard line.
Right now, they are running an offensive urgency. There's no longer that calm about this offense. Now they're moving the ball like they need to move the ball. And for the first time today, Dennis Erickson's offense looks aggressive.
Ricky Waters with 62 yards on 16 carries. And 60 minutes will follow this football telecast, except on the West Coast, as soon as we have reached completion. 11:07 to go. Freese is down. Trevor Price. Flag is down as well.
Ed Hockley had to call down that last little pull and yank he gave John Freese at the end. He was down and he was sacked and he kept going after him, but that was hardly what I'd call blatant and aggressive. Trevor Price, the first rounder last year out of Clemson.
Personal foul. Other defense, number 93. Unnecessary roughness, throwing the quarterback to the ground. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Look at Mike. Mike Shanahan says he was not down. How can you throw him down if he's not down? Trevor Price coming from the right defensive tackle spot. Good job of pass rush right there. Whistle's blown. 1, 2. It was a second push down. You know, I agree in taking care of the quarterbacks, but you don't have to adopt them.
Second down, under 11 to go. 21-10. If you just did join us, John Elway was torrid at the beginning of the ball game. 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter, but Darren Smith intercepted Elway, returned it for a touchdown. That made it 14-7. That's where we were at the half. Warren Moon is out of the game now. He gives way to John Freese. Warren ineffective, particularly in the third quarter because of the cracked rib. And here's Freese, right side. Mike Pritchard is loose. Foot race. Mike Pritchard, no flags, touchdown. And a bit of a bucking salute from the former Denver Bronco, I think.
Mike Pritchard, the former running back at Colorado, been converted into a receiver. They did it at Atlanta when he was a slot receiver in the run and shoot. They did it at Denver, and Seattle does it here, and that's get him the ball in air, let him work against Darian Gordon, and let him use that speed. And that was a good pass by John Freese, and that was Pritchard burning it. And that's a hi, how are you to his buddies back in Denver.
And the Seattle Seahawks will go for 2 points. They are 0 for 1 2-point conversions this season. They opt for the 2-point try. That's Pritchard in motion. Toss to Waters. Cuts it upfield and is stopped short.
Harold Hasselbeck was right there. Ran down the line of scrimmage the whole way and stuffed that 2-point conversion. That's too bad, but it doesn't take any sting off that long Pritchard touchdown run.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda, First Union, and by the U.S. Postal Service.
10 minutes, 34 seconds remaining in regulation time. 21-16, Denver leading Seattle. And Todd Peterson getting set to kick off.
Well, John Freese came in for Warren Moon. He said he had to be the spark, and he and Michael Pritchard, who he's discussing that play with right there, were exactly the spark. There's Harold Hasselbeck right there at the defensive end. Look at him work against House Ballard, 75. He strings them, and he fills up on Ricky Waters.
And the kick. Hebron drifts over to his left, takes it at the goal line, out to the 15, and down at the 17-yard line. And John Elway back on the field. Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, guess who I'm with? Floyd Little, who came into the day as Denver's all-time rushing touchdown leader. What'd you say to Terrell after he broke your leg?
I told him congratulations. I came down here to see him do that, and he's had a great career and a great year. So he's a good player, and it's a good guy to break the record.
Well, congratulations. At least you had your record broken by someone phenomenal. Thanks for joining us.
He's a good guy. I'm glad. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Now, Floyd Little's a touch of class. Out of Syracuse, number 44, right tackle. Harry Swain moved.
Before the snap, ball start, offense number 74, 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, that's coming up right after the conclusion of our game, except on the West Coast, and we'll have a feature on the mayor of Moscow. And followed by Touched by an Angel and the CBS Sunday movie, A Marriage of Convenience. That's tonight's lineup on CBS. Blitz coming. Elway with a two-step setup. Flings it out to the left side and completes the pass to Rod Smith, a 14-yard gain, and that number 8 for Rod Smith tonight.
Yeah, there's some model cars that have great brakes, and some other model cars have pretty good brakes. The Smith model's got pretty good brakes, at least a little better than the Willie Williams model, because when he went to that plant and that go, the Williams model brakes kind of blew out, and that was all set up by pretty good protection. Good effort by Chad Brown trying to get there, but Elway knew exactly where he wanted to go.
2nd and 2. 9:45 to go. Terrell Davis goes left. Watch out. Oh, boy. He was that close to being long gone. 12-yard gain.
What stands out and makes him so dangerous, you know, his size is great. Everything else is very good about this guy. Watch the feet of Terrell Davis. Not so much here and not so much in the hole, but when he sees it, the feet go, the contact, the feet keep going. More contact. He tries to keep the feet going. And he's landing on his knees and he's trying to move his feet.
Greg McMacklin, the defensive coordinator, Seattle, said, 1, he's got great vision. 2, his feet never stop. Play fake for Elway. Pumps, goes left. Oh, just about picked off. Willie Williams, number 27. John Elway with that patented right and look back.
John Elway has spent the better part of the day today, Vern, going after Willie Williams. That case, he was trying to get this ball to Shannon Sharp, who was lined up as a wide receiver, and Willie Williams again comes through with a nice big play. That's some resiliency. That's being a cornerback in the NFL. Things happen bad, you look bad. What do? You come back the next play and you do something good.
2nd and 10. Terrell Davis comes right, keeps the feet churning again, and he's out to the 47-yard line. 48, just short of the first down. Another 9-yard gain.
Remember the old Steve Martin routine about having happy feet? Terrell Davis runs with happy feet, because when he gets in the worst situations, his feet move the fastest. And on that run, he was moving his feet fast until he started to go down. When he starts to go down, watch the feet speed up. He knows if I speed up the feet, I get more yards.
3rd and 1. Anthony Lynn comes in as a blocking back. He goes in front of Terrell Davis, who leans and has a first down at the Seattle 49-yard line. Terrell Davis with 125 yards now on 25 carries. 5th game out of 6th, and 5th in succession he's been over the 100-yard mark. And Harry Swain shaken up for the Denver Broncos, the right tackle. Tony Jones went out earlier, was on the bench for a while, and did manage to come back in, but now the right tackle, Harry Swain, shaken up.
Well, John Elway and the Broncos find themselves here in a 5-point game with about 8 minutes to go, and whether they win this game or not, I guarantee when they wake up tomorrow morning, they're going to remember the fact that they were in a very physical football game.
Time called to check on the injury. We'll be right back. Short of 8 minutes remaining in this one. Now the clock starts. Rod Smith, who's had a big day, goes wide to the left. Ed McCaffrey is in the slot to the left. 1st and 10, Denver up by 5. Elway with a fake to Davis into the flat for Howard Griffith. Down the sidelines, good power, and gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line after an 8-yard gain. Let's go back to New York and check in with Jim Nance.
Yeah, hey, Vern, check this out. One of the ugliest performances in history. The Raiders with an NFL record, 16 punts today, but they bring in 39-year-old Wade Wilson with a minute and a half to go. His first touchdown pass in 3 years goes to Jet, and they lead, but the Chargers are driving. They're at the Raiders 40. Let's go back to Seattle.
That's the new Raider motto. Just win ugly, baby.
With Wade Wilson on and replaced and place of Donald Hollis. Here's the handoff to Davis. And he is down at the 36-yard line. Tackle made by Jay Bellamy. Terrell Davis now nearing 130 yards. Well, you start to think in terms, honestly, of Eric Dickerson's 1984 rushing record in the NFL. Only 3 men have ever gone over 2,000 yards in a season. He's a definite candidate.
A lot of it depends on what kind of football games the Denver Broncos get into for the rest of the year. I mean, the way they were blowing people out, can he do it? No, because he'd be out of the game for a quarter or so at a time at the end of ball games. But, you know, Mike Shanahan will not hesitate to feed him the ball 25, 30 times a game.
I bet he gets it here. Astute observer of the National Football League that I am. He's down at the 35. Chad Brown, number 94. Well, among other highlights, Terrell Davis reached 5,000 yards in 50 games, and he did so not quite as quickly as Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell, and Jim Brown, but he's fourth on the list.
Yeah, he's done something pretty special. It was funny listening to Floyd Little say, you know, having the record broken by somebody that's had such a great career. You know, he hadn't been here 4 years. He wouldn't even have a college career yet at the length he has. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done as fast as he's done it. 2nd and 8. 5:52 to go. Blitz coming. Elway back. Deep left side. Up in the air. Rod Smith. No! Willie Williams defending. I'll say one thing for you, Willie. It hasn't been boring today over there at the right cornerback position. Remember how deep and how far off the ball Willie Williams was before? He starts out close. He kind of jogs to deep. He sprints to deeper. And Rod Smith still almost makes a beautiful circus catch. Watch the catch. The ball to the body. And the ball can't get from the hands to the body fast enough to make it a catch. 3rd and 8, blitz coming from the corner. Elway tipped away by Jay Bellamy. Fourth down. Dennis Erickson told Michelle Tafoya, I love what my defense has done in the first half. If he loved the first half, he's got to be nuts about what his defense is doing here in this second half. Jason Elam kicking with a strained hamstring. Will try one from 53 yards away. The officials want to reset the clock. And I think the Broncos may have... Yep. The Broncos did ask for and were given a timeout. So time called with 5:39 remaining in regulation. Elam on the field. During the timeout, the Broncos exercised their right to change their minds, and they've sent Tom Ruin on now. So Jason Elam will not attempt the field goal. Ruin will attempt the fine art of pooch punting. Snap is a little low. He sends it to the right off the side of his foot. That was awful. That was a dead shank right. And it will be out of bounds at the 23. A 12-yard punt. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Oakland victory over the San Diego Chargers. The Wade Wilson pass to James Jett. Final there, 7-6. The score here is 21-16, and Tom Ruin just shanked one dead right, 12 yards. And the Seattle Seahawks, with John Freeze on in place of Warren Moon for the 2nd week in a row, now have a chance to get their first lead of the ball game. The handoff goes to Waters, and he gets a couple. 60 minutes coming up, except in the West Coast, as soon as this game is in the bank, and we've got 5:20 to go. Remember last time this offense was on the field with John Freeze, they moved down and got a touchdown by doing two things: freeing up Ricky Waters on the run and getting the receivers, especially Michael Pritchard, out in air. 2nd down and 9. Freeze gets time, goes right, and he has Mike Pritchard again. Catch made by Pritchard for a gain of 13 and a first down, Seattle. You saw that Michael Pritchard salute on that one play. We ran in there for a touchdown. That was kind of half mocking the Broncos. There's not another player on this Seahawks team that loved to beat his former team more than Michael Pritchard. Runs a very precise route and is the beneficiary of a real nice pass by John Freeze and a little momentum for the Seahawks.
John Freeze now 4 for 4. Here's the toss to Waters. Gets a block from Brian Blades. Cuts it back. Across the 40 to the 41. Blades with a nice block at the wide receiver position.
I talked a little while ago about the brake system. You saw Rod Smith's great brake system on his pass and catch. Watch the brake system on Ricky Waters moving to his left. There's nothing here, folks. This is a good job by Darian Gordon and John Mobley. Just a great job of cutting back. And Ricky Waters, since Tanavasa, the defensive end, was out of position, and he just cut right back up into the hole where Tanavasa was.
Waters with 67 yards, 2nd and 6. 5-point deficit. Play fake, Freeze. He's perfect so far. He's still perfect. Galloway, first down at the 45-yard line. The catch made in front of Darian Gordon for 14 yards.
Dennis Erickson's offense, the last 2 possessions, the difference is night and day in just the physical body language and the way they're going about their business. They're precise, they're aggressive, and most of all, they're successful, something they weren't on a regular basis earlier today.
Erickson went with John Freeze. Again, he told us yesterday or Friday how comfortable he felt getting to take all the repetitions with the first team this week. Here's a pump fake. Freeze across the middle. Catch made at the 32. No! Wave it off, Christian Fourier. Thought he had it.
Oh, you've heard of the trickle-down theory. Watch Christian Fourier go out from the tight end position, basically check blitzing, check blitz blocking. Freeze sees him late. Here's the trickle down. Trickles from the hands, trickles to the chest, and trickles to the ground.
You're an economics major. We need you. 2nd and 10. Oh, dear. Walter Jones, left tackle.
Before the snap, ball start, offense number 71. 5-yard penalty, it's still 2nd down.
Vern, sometimes you've got to be successful in spite of yourself. And Walter Jones at left tackle right there starts early. And the Seahawks right now, in spite of dropping a pass, in spite of jumping off sides, have to find a way to win in spite of trying to beat themselves with those 12 penalties for 93 yards.
Last week they had 12 in the rainstorm in Kansas City. 12 today.
It's almost a Raider-esque number.
Yeah, it is. 24 in 2 weeks now. 3 wide receiver set. Joey Galloway starts in motion, followed by Gordon. Freeze is 5 for 5. 5 for 6, beg your pardon. Now he's 6 for 7 as Fourier hangs on to this one at the 36-yard line. Now let's go back and check in with Jim Nance.
This might look familiar to you two. Remember last week the Raiders' opponent, the Cardinals, bypassed a 56-yard field goal in the last play of the game. Here San Diego decides to go against the Carney 55-yard attempt, trying to pick up the first on 4th and 7, but Means is a foot short, and the Raiders win it again, even though they punted today an all-time high 16 times. Back to you.
All right, Jimmy. That does look all too familiar, their win over Arizona last week. 3rd down here. Ricky Waters, quick toss. Waters chased by Braxton, first down inside the 30. Tyrone Braxton, but Waters picks up 8. 1st and 10, Seattle.
Look what Ricky Waters sees. He's got a man here, but he sees nothing here. There's a wall. Give me a quick toss. Believe me, they can't catch him. There is nobody there. Slow reaction to the outside by the linebacker that is there. A nice block down the field by the receiver, Blades, and you know, in spite of the penalties, in spite of the problems, Seattle's driving with about 2:45 to go.
They need a touchdown. Pritchard in motion. John Freeze hands it off to Waters. And he is stopped as he gets just inside the 30 by Darius Johnson, who is playing now in place of Ray Crockett. Crockett injured an ankle back in the first half of play.
That's the one thing can definitely be said about this football game. Denver has made some mistakes, and Denver has not been at the top of their game. But Denver's going to come out of here with an awful lot of dings and bruises, not only on the defensive side, but also on the offensive line specifically. This has been a very, very costly game so far for Mike Shanahan and the defending world champions.
Ninth play of the drive, 21-16 Denver. The reverse, Joey Galloway. He's got blockers in front, but a good job by Romanowski. First of all, Galloway's still alive, and he picks up 2 yards. It was Bill Romanowski who forced him back toward the sideline.
That's the 2-minute warning with 1:56
Those
on the
are
clock.
some serious power breaks on that model Joey Galloway out of Ohio State.
2-minute warning. 1:56 left in regulation, and the Seattle Seahawks trying to win for the first time in the last 5 games against the Broncos. Trail by 5. 3rd and 9 at the 28. They missed a 2-point conversion when they got the touchdown to Pritchard, thus the 5-point deficit. And they will go out of the shotgun on 4th and 9. Broncos blitz. Freeze gets protection. It's intercepted, picked off by Glenn Kadrez. Oh, mercy! And a flag is going to be thrown. Smith and Freeze were having at each other verbally.
The penalty is going to be against Smith for Broncos, but you know what? That'll be after that interception. John Freeze didn't see Glenn Kadrez. Glenn Kadrez did not even have to jump for that pass. That pass was just over his head, and a perfect spiral and an easy
After the
pick.
play was over, taunting by Denver, number 90. It's a 15-yard penalty. Denver keeps the ball, 1st down.
John Freeze explaining on the sideline. There's Glenn Kadrez into the blitz, backs out of the blitz, and the ball is right into his arms. John Freeze had to be thinking man-to-man coverage. He saw that many linebackers up blitzing, and what he had was a zone blitz. And Kadrez started the blitz and then backed right out of it.
John Freeze trying to explain things on the sideline.
Well, the hardest part about what he had to look at, though, was not so much the defensive line, but it was the linebackers. Look, here's Kadrez and company on this side of the ball. Here's Kadrez right there. Watch what he does initially. He comes up, he blitzes, and then when he blitzes, he backs back out. And Freeze tries to throw that little curl pattern, and he threw it right into the spot that Kadrez backed out into.
First career interception for Glenn Kadrez. Sends Freeze to the sideline. And the Broncos take over with 1:49, and they'll let Terrell Davis work on the clock now. Seattle has all 3 timeouts left. They'll spend one of them after this first down
Timeout,
play.
Seattle. That's their first charge team timeout. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, this is the 2 first down, and the clock goes away situation. The other guy's got 3 timeouts. 2 first downs, the game's over.
Coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS, Week 7, as we near the midway point of this 1998 season. Most of you will see Baltimore and Pittsburgh early, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And at 4 o'clock Eastern time, the Indianapolis Colts go into San Francisco to take on the 49ers. And Randy and I will be down there to see that one. That's next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern or 4:05 Eastern. Now, John Elway, 1:42 to go. When he was in the 5th grade, his dad, Jack, was an assistant coach at Montana in Missoula. Dennis Erickson's dad, Pink Erickson, was a coach. And they both watched John Elway play little grizzly football. He was a linebacker and running back. Quarterback came later. And he hands it off to Terrell Davis. This will be the 2nd. And if they hold on to win, they'll go 6-0 and equal the 1990 49ers as the only defending. Well, the Chicago Bears did it as well. I beg your pardon, in 1986.
Right, the San Francisco 49ers in '90 ended up 10-0. That was the year, if you remember, that The Niners went back to the championship game and didn't fare too well in that fumble by Roger Craig. But this team in Denver right now, Mike Shanahan is going to escape Seattle. Having not played a great game, it made enough plays to be successful. And that's the biggest play that was made, was by Glenn Cadrez at the end, really sealing Seattle's fate.
In his 7th year, his first interception. Coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, we'll feature the mayor of Moscow. And 60 Minutes seen in its entirety as soon as this game is over, except on the West Coast, when you'll see it at its regular time. Then Touched by an Angel and the CBS Sunday movie, A Marriage of Convenience. 3rd down, Terrell Davis. Watch out. Foot race. He could be gone. Willie Williams gives chase. Terrell Davis flies down the sidelines and is stopped at the 5. All he did was gain 70. All he has done is go over 200 yards.
Terrell Davis makes this play, well, because he's Terrell Davis. A good lead block by Howard Griffith, but right there, it's wide open attack defense, and when you're taking those chances, you're going to give Terrell Davis a chance to make that kind of a run. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks coaches know they're taking a chance, and right about now, they know they've paid the price. Dennis Erickson can't even look.
Terrell Davis has to draw a breath. How's this for an average evening? 208 yards on 30 carries. He's closing in on his career high of 215.
I mean, man, remember, this guy came into the game at 657 yards. Now 208 on top of that. How often do you see a running back go over to the 1,000-yard mark 6-7 weeks into the season?
Well, his average yards per carry today, 6.9. And that one seals it. 1st and goal for the Denver Broncos, who come in here and will heave sighs of relief, I would think, when they get out of here with a 5-point victory or more than that if they score.
And very important for Mike Shanahan's football team is they have a bye next week, because this team is hurting. You've got more than half a dozen people that have limped around on this football team for Mike Shanahan. They're going to need the bye next week. They're going to need that time to recover, and Mike Shanahan's going to give them some time off.
John Elway rolls out and finally kneels down.
I think that's a class move, really, by Mike Shanahan. There's a lot of coaches out there that would just keep on going and say, hey, look, we didn't pour it on. We were just running our offense.
Well, the bye week for the Broncos next week means another knee surgery for Mark Schlereth. Open date then, how about this one? Jacksonville at home. That one on CBS. Then at Cincinnati. They get San Diego, at Kansas City, and Oakland. And for Dennis Erickson, a 3-0 start. And the enthusiasm from that 3-0 start all but evaporated now with 3 straight defeats.
And more importantly, back-to-back division losses to Kansas City and now to Denver. And this is a football team that was specifically put together to beat the Denver Broncos. Millions and millions of dollars spent signing free agents the last year or two to beat the Denver Broncos and knock them off their perch. You know what's scary about the Denver Broncos, though, when you think about what they've done last year and a half? They are defending world champions, but they're not defending AFC West champions. Kansas City won the division last year.
Gives them something to shoot for. Mike Shanahan's team will go 6-0 and enjoy the week off. The Seattle Seahawks fall to 3-3. They get the bye, then they're on the road at San Diego, and they get Oakland at home.
Well, we've seen the college game and the pro game. Top teams play ugly and lose. Denver found a way to play ugly and win.
Final score 21-16. The Broncos remain undefeated. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's 60 Minutes. So for Randy Cross and Michelle Tafoya, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from the Kingdome, where Denver wins its 5th straight over the Seattle Seahawks. 21-16 the final. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.